Welcome back. I was talking to a good friend a long time ago now about the concept of unconditional love. I feel like unconditional love is something that too few people in this world get an experience of, and it's absolutely a part of this training in the science of the mind is unconditional love. But what is it and how do we do it? It's an interesting concept. I think maybe some people think it's not possible, but I absolutely believe in it, and I feel like I live my life that way and try to share that with myself and share that with other people as well. Unconditional love. So what is it and how does it work? And that's what I was saying to my good friend quite a while ago was I don't think people understand about what it is, let alone how it works. So I noticed that at the end of one of the videos that I was filming recently that I was talking about a perfect attitude and what does that mean and how does that thing work. And I was explaining how we can get a perfect attitude towards ourselves and our life, our mind. And this concept of a perfect attitude, this is an aspect of unconditional love. If we can look at ourselves, I suppose the most important thing or the most important aspect of our life to have unconditional love towards is actually ourselves, our own self. So when we train and develop this attitude towards ourselves that we're perfect, I was explaining in that previous video that it's not saying that we don't have blemishes. What we're saying is that we have this perfect attitude towards ourselves. We give our own selves, our own good selves, this attitude that we're perfect just the way we are, warts and all. There's an unconditional positive regard there. It's not easy to do, but it can be trained and absolutely it can be developed and mastered. And then there can be a consistency there in this sense about ourselves that I'm good and that we always deserve a good attitude, that we're always good. And when we train this, it's one aspect of unconditional love there is to have that perfect attitude, to have a good attitude, to overlook the flaws and just always have this sense that deep down at the core of ourselves, at the core of life, that we people are good, that we as an individual are good, and that life is good. The world is a good thing. The mind is a good thing. And everything has the potential to be good. So it's a really good attitude there. So it's all about our perception, our perspective on life. That's one aspect of unconditional love, but I was saying to my good friend that there's more to it than that. Like I've been watching this building growing. I've talked to a couple of good friends recently about the fact, used it as a metaphor, this building that's coming up across the road from my office. I keep seeing it, this building just going up from foundation level, bit by bit. I see the workmen just plodding around. They're not rushing. They're just slowly, steadily working on it, just caring, going about their business, their work, their duties in a caring way, caring for the building that they're constructing. And this has struck me as being a good metaphor for the way that unconditional love works, it would be like if we bought a piece of land, then we could have a perfect attitude towards it, even if it's just a wild piece of land. It hasn't got any foundations set on it, it doesn't have any structures. It might just start out being a piece of land that has jungle or bush or trees or whatever natural things are naturally there on that land. That's the way it is to begin with. It's just the way it naturally is, and we can look at it as being a perfect piece of land. If we got a good attitude, we would look at it from that perspective to say, I got the perfect piece of land. But then we don't just leave it like that. I remember at the end of that same video recently, I was talking about how even perfect things need care. And so we care for it. We want to be able to use that land in ways that are going to be helpful for us, for other people. We want to make it comfortable. So we start constructing foundations for whatever structures we want to put on there, and then we caringly go about the work of building those structures and clearing the land in any way that will make it comfortable and safe for us. And this struck me as being a good analogy, a good metaphor for the way that unconditional love is. It's on the one hand looking at us always with a good attitude, saying that we're perfect just the way we are, exactly the way we are. But that doesn't mean that we don't go about the practical matters of improving things, making things more comfortable for ourselves, caring for things, softening things, making sure that things are safe. So there's a lot of nurturing and developing. So we can always improve things to make things nicer, easier for ourselves, more comfortable, more healthy. So to me, that's been my experience of unconditional love, is that it's a really soft thing, it's a really stable thing. It's like having a mother and a father there, like a mother figure being really soft and consistent and stable, always telling us that we're good, giving us that perfect attitude. And also having like a father figure, someone that caringly, gently goes about the business of providing for our needs, caring for our needs, giving us anything else that we want. So there's an honouring of our feelings, our needs and our wants. There's a protection there. And there's a sense of discipline, a sense of training, improving things, looking after things. Like if we've got a car, whatever your car is like, if we have a car, it's perfect. We would have that perfect attitude towards it, but at the same time, we maintain it, we look after it. So we always care for things in this training. And unconditional love, this is a nice way of looking at what this training is giving us, is a gentle, like a middle ground. It's not a training that just completely lets us be and just lets us do whatever we want. So it's not completely undisciplined, but it's not over-disciplined. It's not strict or harsh on us. It's very forgiving and soft. It's just like a really gentle, gradual training. And it's unconditional love that I'm sharing with you. It's one way of looking at it. It's a beautiful way of looking at it, and it really gives the essence of what we're doing here, is just softening things, making things nice and gentle, training ourselves to be loving no matter what happens.